So Nintendo's in a bit of trouble and stuff, and this has a bunch of people coming out of the woodwork going, "Oh, this is what Nintendo should do," blah blah blah. And I watched Maximilian's video on the subject, and I got kind of annoyed with a particular thing. He was like, Nintendo should cater more to the West. I mean, that's where Capcom screwed up. They didn't cater to the West. And that kind of annoyed me. Now, Nintendo could actually cater to the West if they could find a company willing to bend over for them. See, Nintendo has worked with Western developers in the past, and everyone who's worked with them says that it was kind of a nightmare. They were real slave drivers. They stood over them and cracked the whip, but it resulted in a good game. Case in point, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Like, listen to any of the testimonials with the whole Dennis Dialak or whatever that guy's name is. Was it Derek? Was it Derek or Dennis? Whatever. That one guy who ran Silicon Knights, he continually brought up, I made Eternal Darkness. It's like the greatest thing ever. And like all the people who worked at the company were like, yeah, that game only turned out so good because Nintendo stood over us with frickin' whips and whipped that game into shape, and it was really unpleasant, but it resulted in a good game. And behind this guy's management, it's crap. He'll tell us to paint trucks red all day. So, not making that up. Go look up some shit on Silicon Knights and the shit that happened with them. It's that's pretty amazing. But so Nintendo could actually pull it off if they found a Western developer that was willing to let them draconiously supervise them. But Capcom pissed me off. You know why? Guess what I blame most of Capcom's financial troubles on? Resident Evil 6. They had like the entire staff of all of Capcom working on that game. They practically made 3 games. They went all in, spent such a huge budget on it, and it flopped and people hated it. Now, and I could just hear people going, oh, they don't know how to cater to Western markets, but they were trying to. That's what they did with Resident Evil 6. They were trying to cater more to a Western market. That was the entire concept, and guess what? It bit them in the ass. And, people will go, oh, well, they just didn't do a good enough job. They didn't understand. You know what? A company could make one of the best fucking third-person shooters ever made. And it would flop. It could flop in Western markets for completely arbitrary reasons. Case in point, Sega. Binary Domain. You tell me that didn't put a huge dent in them? Oh yeah, they're going kind of bankrupt-ish too. I'm not sure if you played Binary Domain, but it's really good. Like, it is a phenomenal third-person shooter, possibly one of the best. I would definitely say better than Gears of War. Great storyline, looks gorgeous, very much a AAA game, has multiple endings. You can find it really cheap, so I do highly recommend checking it out if you like third-person shooters at all. Just don't look at the main character too closely. Once you see it, it cannot be unseen. But that game is really good. It even got good review scores. It flopped like Never Dead. It sold like the same amount as Never Dead in the States. The only place it was successful was Japan. It was a good-ass game. What went wrong? Well, it didn't have hype behind it. It wasn't plastered all over covers. They weren't talking about its development. It didn't have, like, super compelling multiplayer or anything. So people just blew it off. And a lot of people actually immediately assumed it was crap because, for some reason, it reminded them of Mind Jack. They were like, oh, I've actually had people say to me, even though Binary Domain has gotten, like, universal critical acclaim across the board. I've had people come up to me and go, Binary Domain, didn't that game suck? No, it's phenomenal. But people think it sucks because it's from a Japanese developer. So they immediately assume it's another one of those Japanese developers trying to make a game that caters to a Western audience. It completely fucks up. In a lot of ways, it's almost impossible. And I get so sick of people just going, well, they need to cater more to a Western audience. That's the key. I've had people spend hours telling me that. I cannot bash it into their heads. That is the stupidest fucking idea ever. And you can sit there and go, oh, well, they just need to try harder. Fuck you. You know what? What if the West was trying to cater to a Japanese audience? You think we'd nail that shit? I bet we'd do something stupid like plaster the cover with a scantily clad blue-haired girl and name it the Japanese word for wonderful. Oh wait, we did. It's called Sudeki. Yes, it was originally titled Suteki until someone beat it into their head that was a really stupid idea. And honestly, I kind of like Sudeki, but I could easily see that as being like the JRPG equivalent of Mind Jack. I could see that as actually kind of offending a Japanese audience in a way. And that's the thing. If you think about it, when you're trying to cater to a completely different country that you're not a part of their culture, that's a bad mindset to have. In a way, it's a little bit racist, because you're not catering to a specific group, to a specific kind of taste. You're catering to an entire country. You're trying to boil down the preferences of an entire country into a list of checkboxes you can check off to appeal to said country. You are trying to market your game to a racist stereotype. You don't even think about that, do you? The few games that, are catering to a Western market actually succeed because they aren't trying to cater to a Western market. They're trying to cater to Western fans. That is the key word there. Because that is a specific group. That is something you can cater to. You can go, all right, these people already like this game. They want more of this, but they want it tweaked in this way. We can do that. That is something you can do. However, just trying to cater to a Western market, it's bullshit. Like I said in my episode on review scores, just the distance between the countries is enough of a problem. Western games have the home field advantage because they can invite reviewers to their place and show them beta versions of the game lab, try it out, take them out for a beer. Japanese developers, they have to fly in from Japan or fly them to Japan. And then there's a language barrier. It's really hard to bro it up and generate the kind of hype a Western game can generate in the West. Which is why my suggestion, I know they're not listening, but if I could suggest something to all Japanese companies, it would be fuck America. Don't even try. Just make games to appeal to the Japanese market. Focus on making money in Japan. Budget your game around making money in Japan. And then bring it to the States on the cheap, and it'll gain a cult following, and it'll be super great. And if it doesn't, oh well, you didn't waste a lot of money on that. You're not going to go fucking bankrupt like all of you are. That's the key. It's not, oh, let's all cater to the West. We need to figure out how to cater more to Western tastes. No, fuck you. That's not gonna work. Look, Call of Duty is successful because it's Call of Duty. Not because it's a good game, not because they continually innovate, not because of anything other than the fact that it has name value. And when you get name value, it doesn't matter. You could kind of make complete shit. You'd still sell a decent chunk of copies. It takes a while for name value to actually wear off. It does wear off eventually. But it takes a lot of fuck-ups to make that happen. So you can't do that. Don't chase the Call of Duty numbers. You're going to bankrupt yourself. Don't try to cater to the West. The West is catering to the West, and they're doing a better job of it. Cater to yourself. Cater to Japan. Cater to what you know. Make the games you want, make it successful in your home country, and then bring it to the States. And really, what are we losing as Westerners in this concept? Nothing, because all of the Japanese games that try to cater to a Western market fuck it up consistently. We whine about them all the damn time. We don't lose anything if all of Japan just suddenly decided, well, fuck the West. The only thing is if they just decide to not bring games to the States, which would be very disappointing and make me sad. But whatever, that I would import the games on my PS3 and they would be better anyway. So that's the thing. That is my opinion on that. Quit it with the whole, no. If you ask me, it's a stupid idea. If you really think it's a smart idea, ask yourself why. Japan will never pull it off. They don't get Western tastes. They're never going to get Western tastes. They shouldn't try to get Western tastes. It's stupid. just make your games for Japan. Or as I call it, the Namco Bandai model, which I can hear a couple people cringing. I would say the biggest problem is that they don't bring enough of their games to the States, personally. I kind of like their stuff. And then you have the weird shifty look thing. That's a whole other story. Anyway, this is Joe. Hope you enjoyed this rant, and maybe it made you think about that whole, oh, well, they should cater more to Western markets bullcrap. No, I'm sick of that. That's dumb. See ya.